Hi everyone, and welcome to the showcase of Motion Camera, the Unreal Engine plugin designed to bring life and dynamism to your camera shots. Camera management in real-time 3D projects is crucial, especially in fast-paced games. In these scenarios, the camera needs to reflect the energy of the action, engaging the player without causing unwanted side effects like motion sickness or dizziness. That's why a good camera system must respond to the speed and acceleration of controlled entity, adjusting its position and rotation accordingly. I originally developed the motion camera for racing games, but it can be used in any kind of project. To demonstrate the plugin's features quickly, I created a new Unreal Engine 5 project using the vehicle template. Let's see how to set it up in Unreal Engine 5. First, enable the plugin from the plugins window. Then, open the vehicle blueprint by clicking on BP Vehicle Pawn. You will notice two spring arms and two cameras are already present. These are part of Unreal's built-in vehicle system and can be removed. But don't worry, Motion Camera uses its own spring arm and camera, so we will just disable the default ones. Now, in the Components panel, add the Motion Camera component. The core of Motion Camera lies in its profiles. A profile defines how a camera shot behaves, its initial position and rotation, how it follows the target, and how it reacts to changes in speed and acceleration. Only one spring arm and one camera are instantiated in the scene. Switching between profiles updates their parameters with a smooth blend effect, giving you dynamic transitions without the overhead of multiple cameras. In the plugins content folder, you will find a few demo profiles already set up for this template. They are great for quick testing, but I encourage you to tweak them or create your own to explore the full potential of the plugin. To create a new profile, right-click in the desired content folder, go to Miscellaneous, Data Asset, then choose Motion Camera Profile. Each profile has several settings. Going over them all in detail would take a while, but each one is well documented with tooltips and descriptive names. Here are the 7 main sections. Base sets the initial camera setup relative to the blueprint's route. Position offset, spring arm length, rotation, and field of view. Following controls how fast the camera interpolates positions and rotation and which axis it inherits from the target. Behavior handles reverse movement. For example, flipping the camera 180 degrees on the Y-axis when the vehicle is in reverse. Velocity effects adds positional or rotational offsets and field of view changes based on the target speed to enhance the sensation of velocity. Acceleration effects similar to velocity, but reacts to acceleration. Collision, just like standard components, lets you enable collision checks to avoid camera clipping. Shake effects lets you enable a customizable camera shake when speed exceeds a certain threshold. In the Components Details panel, choose which profiles will be available at runtime, whether the player can switch between them, and which profile will be active at the start of the simulation. You can also disable blending between profiles, but since it creates a smooth transition, I personally recommend keeping it on. Motion Camera allows the user to rotate the camera around the target, perfect for custom viewing angles. Just call the methods add manual pitch offset, add manual yaw offset, add manual roll offset, and pass in the desired rotation value. In my setup, I wanted to let the player orbit around the vehicle using the mouse, so I connected the mouse X and mouse Y inputs to the add manual yaw offset and add manual pitch offset functions. The manual overrides section lets you define if these rotations are temporary, how long they last, and how fast they fade back. And finally the last setting, the frame rate handling. You can also set a frame rate threshold. If the frame rate drops too low, the plugin will stop updating to avoid vision instability that could affect the player experience. In this template, I added some basic input bindings. The C key to switch to the next profile. The X key to go back to the previous one. the B key to trigger a camera shake. This is useful for things like reacting to collisions. It's important to note the shake is local to the player, so in multiplayer scenarios other users won't see it. Since this test scene includes a ramp, I created a simple routine to detect when the car is airborne. In other words, none of the wheels are touching the ground. When the vehicle lands, it triggers an on-land event, which in turn triggers a camera shake. This is a practical example of using the trigger camera shake function. Another handy feature is the ability to detect which profile is currently active. The plugin fires a no profile changed event whenever a new profile is selected. It also passes the index of the new profile, which you can use to update a UI, HUD or anything else in your game. In this template, I just printed the index on screen, but in a real project, you could easily sync it with your interface. I hope motion camera helped you create more immersive, dynamic and exciting scenes. It was a joy to build, and I hope you enjoy using it just as much. I will leave you now with a few sequences that show what the plugin can do. Thanks for watching.